Stories in today's video. 1. I, M25, asked my GF, F25, to go back to her parents' place so I could stay alone and have some headspace too. I feel like my fiancé, 32, doesn't think of me, 30, and it's building up resentment. 3. I, 51F, realized that I'm completely alone after always being in a relationship. Hello, R, relationship. I'm writing this like 5 minutes after my GF and I had a conversation by message to clarify things, so things are still pretty heated right now. The thing is, I am renting a 300 square feet, 28 square meters apartment, only one room, and as a young IT engineer, I work at home during the week, home office you know. She used to live in her parents' place. Then when we got in couple she just joined in my flat but I still pay the rent 100%. These last day, since we spent all these last weeks 24/7 together, I noticed my mood was kinda off. I began to be less responsive to her, didn't even check the memes she sent me because I felt like she was always distracting me during what I was doing. She ended up being a bit irritated too since I wouldn't give her the attention she needed, which is pretty normal actually. I think I can interpret my mood as a "please leave me alone and don't disturb me" mood. I swear I don't blame it on her and she is a cutie, but I think that if we would get a bigger apartment, 2 rooms, we could get our own space when we need it. I might be wrong though, and if we engage in renting an apartment at 2 it might be a really big mistake. By the way, it's not quite possible for her right now due to her employment status, so all I can do is wait for her to maybe get a permanent contract. Now here is the thing, I was so suffocated by the situation somehow, that I went outside yesterday and texted her about the fact that I needed some time alone, that I don't know why, and that I was sorry for that. She went back home to her parents' place and then we slept separately since a long time. Yes, I felt like sh*t when I went to sleep last night. She blamed me this morning by message, telling me that when we are together, she let me do whatever I want, read, sport, video games, go to the bar with friends, but I try to tell her that's I just need some alone time. And now she feels abandoned, and I feel bad for it. Now, she do let me alone for 1 week but I don't feel like she understands why. I feel like she leaves me alone because I asked her to, but she doesn't understand the deeper meaning from my side. Do you have an advice about how I could handle this situation? How I could say things for her to understand that I need some headspace sometimes and it's natural. She is a very talkative person and I am more of an introvert, so sometimes having her by my side might be energy intensive for me and I can feel exhausted pretty fast. We've been in a relationship since the beginning of 2021, so it's pretty new and we've been together almost all of the time ever since. R, relationships. I am relieved that there is a place like that where I can share some information and where I could get the less biased answer possible. If I made some grammar mistakes it's because I'm from France, yes, haha. TLDR***, how I can make my GF understand that I need some headspace sometimes and it's natural. Length, 4 years together, engaged a year and a half. Long distance for first 3 years. Case in point, I just ordered Uber Eats and the app said it was delivered but was not received. I was in my pajamas and asked him to help look for it as we live in an apartment and I wasn't dressed appropriately. His reaction was, well, neither am I, implying he wasn't going to. I guess he then realized how inconsiderate that was, and what I do for him, apparently, and left to help find it and apologized. Don't get me wrong, he catches himself after but his initial reactions can feel really insensitive, unthinking. Once we were on separate flights and I was landing at the airport late at night, and he was landing an hour earlier, I asked him to stay and he said, yeah, maybe. If I'm not tired. I had to yet explain why it makes me feel like he doesn't prioritize me. Another thing he does is dismiss my reactions to things. Once I was sitting on the floor and he walked on my ankles and rolled them and when I screamed he goes, that didn't hurt. I have to explain to him that it did and while he understands ** after ** the fact, but why should I explain myself? He tells me it's a habit growing up, his family would say it to him, but I feel like as an adult, this should be something to be cognizant of and grow out of. I don't know if it's something that I can help him understand or if it's a lost cause. We've been together for 4+ years and he's always been this way, but it's heightened since we've moved in together this past year. He also doesn't do chores unless I basically nag, and even then it can be like pulling teeth. It's gotten better but slow progress. We also bicker quite a bit. We generally make up before bed, but I just wonder if the stress of the pandemic and seeing each other constantly in a new city has added a layer of uneasiness, or if relationships should be easier. What's the fine line between normal fighting and bad fighting? I sometimes look at other couples and wished he thought of me more. I don't know. TLDR, fiancé can be inconsiderate. We bicker, wondering the normalcy of fighting and what's considered too much. Edit, one comment suggested that my fiancé may be a bit on the spectrum, which I can see. He very much lacks empathy skills and I have never seen him once get sad or cry. In fact, he tells me he doesn't really get sad but that he processes. When his very close aunt, almost like a mom, died, he didn't shed a tear. He's a smart and social guy, but when it comes to emotion he doesn't quite get it. I was with my partner for 12 years. The last half of our relationship really went downhill. He body shamed me a lot when he was angry. I've always been about 25 pounds overweight since I met him, and it caused me to totally lose both self-esteem and libido. I tried hard to be more attractive to him, but it never really worked, and now I find I'm even heavier than before, thanks menopause. 2 years ago he cheated on me and lied about everything, and when I found out, it very much traumatized me. I ended up renting an apartment for me and my 2 kids, not his bio kids. My kids are twins, and we moved out when they were 16. My partner remained in my life in this weird, in limbo, situation where neither of us saw other people, but weren't really fully together as a couple. We all still were together as a family however, and we'd still rent a cottage together or go out to eat or hang out every week. I know this is weird. I was still in love with him, and he wasn't looking for anyone, neither was I, so this kinda sorta worked, and we were both hopeful we could mend our relationship somehow. He wanted me and my kids in his life, so he said even if I wasn't ready to trust him, I wasn't. That we could still be together as a family for now and he wouldn't be looking for anyone else. I lost my job due to COVID and have been working for a low-paying job from home, but it pays the bills. My kids are now 18 and they both have new partners, and between that and part-time jobs they are rarely home. Lockdown has ended here and they are out all the time with it being summer, renting a cottage, at parties. This is all brand new for them. They were both total homebodies until this year. At the same time, my ex-partner has suddenly decided he wants to start dating, which honestly came as a shock to me, and told me he's started seeing a younger woman, 30s, at work. He also told me he's hopeful to have another child. I'm very reserved and introverted, and my family was my whole life. I have some acquaintances but they have their own lives and they aren't friends. I see them once a year at best. I looked around and realized I'm in my 50s and completely alone. It's totally normal for my kids to be developing their own lives, but it is hard to get used to since they were both always with me all the time. And there's no hope of fixing my relationship with my ex as he's decided to move on, and it really shouldn't have been fixed anyway. He's emotionally and verbally abusive. I don't even have a single person I could call to go to see a movie. I'm not exaggerating. I have no coworkers, no friends, and on the weekend I go to help take care of my elderly dad who is developing dementia, and going there makes me sad and depressed to see someone who was bigger than life and now can't drive or even cook for himself. Basically I'm terrified I'll slide into the role of matronly cat lady. I don't know how to date and I'm wary of online dating sites, thanks to shenanigans with my ex. I'm not a hottie by any means, and when I'm out and about I never even get a second glance. And I try to look my best, but my best at this point isn't going to get me any dates lol. I looked into meetups in my area but there just aren't any that make sense for me. Several things like ballroom dancing, not for me, or sports, exercise types of things. I have one bad knee and a noticeable limp lol. The others are too far away. It's not like I can move, not sure where I'd go anyway, because even though my kids are out all the time, this is still their home base and when they go to school they haven't decided if they want to live here or there, plus they are both wanting to take a gap year to save more money. I'm trying not to be depressed and scared, but I am. Last night I was alone in my apartment and contemplating contacting my ex to beg for another chance. I'm clearly not thinking straight. I know most people here are young, but are there any older people who had no life and somehow made their life happy and worth living?